Welcome to Gracie Opulanza, Tracy.
Welcome to Tracy.
Talk about your vision, where it all began, the inspiration.
Right.
Keep looking at that.
God, it actually started quite a while ago. When I was 9, I started making shoes out of toilet paper rolls, for as crude as that sounds, just because of the heel shape. And cardboard boxes, and then I'd walk around town, and I actually think it's wonderful that my mother let me do that.
Wow.
So yeah, no, at this age, it's kind of, it definitely is a natural sort of thing. And I think I continue to see things with a bit of a childlike mind, because that is the true creativity. You're not sort of interfered by anything else that's going on. So maybe that's why we're standing among hanging shoes, as it were.
I mean, this, in the last year, and also practicality for women.
Yeah.
Oh, I walk around a lot. I come in here, I'm like, I can walk in these, and they look good.
And still look good. Yeah. It's the amount of times that the women come back after they've had a pair of shoes, and they're like, I get stopped all the time in the streets. And I think women are desperate for shoes that look individual and themselves, and yeah, and it's the small little details as well. It's the things that make you happy, not necessarily. Yeah, that's bold as, yeah, what have you.
It's in our DNA, shoes.
Yes, I think it kind of is.
What is it about shoes and women?
Yeah. You know, I don't know. All I think about is in the morning you put something on and there's people that go, oh, what outfit am I going to wear? But for me, it's always what shoes you're going to wear, and then, or I know what shoes I'm going to wear, and then you have to find the outfit around it. And I think that they're the pedestal for comfort, for individuality. You can have a great retro look, but if you have, or you know, very simple high street clothes, and you got a great pair of shoes on it, that's what puts it together.
Talk about some of your unique designs, or the that represents the brand. I mean, I always look at your heels. There seems to be
yes, and also the toe shape. This is, well, it's actually the one that I'm wearing, but these are some of my favorites. And this is a very simple toe shape where it's pointed, but it's also round. It's also foot shaped. Everything that I do from scratch. So I actually start with plasticine molding the last, which is the form that makes the shoes. And it's also a small detail, speaking of heels, where this is extended just that tiny bit longer, and it just makes it a little bit different. This one here, or actually this is another one that's quite sculptural, where it's simply just, to me this is like the sticky note shoe, where, you know, it's like, why did somebody think of that before? It's just a very simple graphic circle. And then if you think about the line in your leg going up, to me the shoe should be part of your being, and when it's on you, it's nothing that you feel, oh, I don't feel quite right, and yeah, they become you and they become your statement. 2015, actually I have to say last year was a big year. We just launched men's, and that actually, it's amazing. You think, oh, another pair of shoes, but it's kind of a whole other business. So we're working on that. Put that back.
Let's talk about the men's for a bit more. So welcome to Men's Style Fashion. All of a sudden, Greg,
yes.
When I put and thank you for the shoes for Greg, he just loved them, and I think he did sleep in them. I'm quite convinced.
We could only get a picture of that.
Men shoes. What's your philosophy behind it?
You know, I think for the past, 10 years that we've been doing this, almost every second day we'll literally get a man coming and going, why aren't you doing men's? And in some cases, because men, this is a huge generalization, love the details more than the women, they'd pick up the shoes and they'd be like this, and his wife or what have you behind is like throwing the shoes around. But when you look at the men's, we've built like little hand stitching into it, and the label is laser cut into the bottom, and there's lots of tiny little details. So that's kind of the things that we focus on, and of course a bit of irony too.
What's some of your David versus Goliath moment within your business?
Oh, within the business.
Yeah.
Well, I think I designed everything from scratch, absolutely everything. So the way the business in general of fashion is that you take something and you give it to your manufacturer and you say, can you please copy this? We don't do that. So we're constantly reinventing the wheel, and those are probably some of the Goliath moments, I would say. But it's worth it. You have to. Actually, I'm looking at one shoe over there. I don't know if we can.
Yeah, grab it.
Here we've put textile and we've put it into the heel. And what's happening is that you get a sort of a mass-produced shoe, but it's individual because you can't control the textile. And it's looking at ideas like that where you can push your own personalization forward. And you know, it's a killer in manufacture, absolutely. But it's well worth doing it. So I guess, in a way, that is our David and our Goliath, to have something so beautiful come out, but at the same time, you know the blood and sweat that went into it.
The most successful shoe so far, because they were popular on.
Well, you know, the longest running shoe has been our classic Geek. We started making this in leather.
Classic Geek?
It's called the Geek, yeah. And I think it's just a very simple derby. It's probably one of the first shoes that was ever made in the history of the shoe. And we started to make that on a leather sole like 10 years ago, believe it or not. And I do believe the people that were wearing it in the first place are still coming in and loving the rubber sole and then the different materials. Like this actually has glass beading melted right to the leather. So there's always kind of an update on it, but that definitely is one of the, but that's sort of more on a utilitarian. But from a design standpoint, I think this is definitely the, probably the most iconic.
Yeah, I love this.
What's curious about that is when you wear it and you look down, it actually doesn't look, you know, if you can imagine that on your feet.
Yeah.
It doesn't actually look that it's that sculptural, but then from the side you definitely do see the lines. I think we're probably known for our color too. I mean, this is just one of the shop displays. But you know, this is actually a cow leather, but the texture of it is fantastic. And you know, our women can carry off the color, and so can our men.
Yeah, no, this is a real trend color, definitely.